Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Phantom Knight Infinite Negates. It's a very consistent combo. I'm just going to be showing you kind of the baseline for it. Torn Scale is a really good card. It's basically 3 level 3 monsters in one, and all you need is just any other like extender. It doesn't matter if it's a level 3 extender, it doesn't matter type or attribute. Just another extender is perfectly fine. I'm using Raider's Wing, not Raider's Wing, Phantom Knight's Wing in this case because Torn Scale can just discard it, and then Wing will just be able to banish itself and then summon another PK, so it's an extender in that way. So that's pretty neat. And in case you don't know what Infinite Negates are, I'll explain it during the end of the combo. So you want to start off by normal summoning your Torn Scale discarding your any card, doesn't matter, in order to dump an Ancient Cloak. Ancient Cloak in graveyard can banish itself, search a Phantom Knight monster, you're going to be searching your Silent Boots, then you can summon it and then go into Cherubini. Silent Boots in the graveyard will banish itself, search a Fog Blade, you're going to add, since you banish a Phantom Knight, you can summon Torn Scales, you're going to use Cherubini, dump Graph will summon Seer, and then you can overlay it to Leviair. Leviair specifically detaching the Seer, summoning Ancient Cloak, Seer will activate, summoning the Graph, then you can overlay into another Leviair will summon out the Silent Boot. The extra Leviair is 100% optional in case your extender has like a weird typing, which actually I don't think there are any extenders in this deck that have a weird typing. Doesn't really matter. We're going to go into Reproducus over a monster. We'll go into this Leviair for now in order to turn in the Wing Beast for some more. But we'll go ahead and summon our extender, which in this case is the Wing with Ancient Cloak. Then you can just go into Unicarrier. Unicarrier will equip Thunderbird, and then you'll set the Fog Blade, use some Works effect during the end phase, and summon Mist Valley Apex Avion. So this is kind of a setup for Infinite Negates, in case you don't know what it is. As long as you're able to get these two cards, Avion and Thunderbird, on the field, you can pretty much do anything. Avion reads once per chain when card effect is activated. You can bounce back when Mist Valley card you control to negate it. And what our Thunderbird reads is that when it is bounced back from the field to the hand, you can summon it. So when your opponent activates a card or its effect, you're going to use Avion, bounce back Thunderbird, it'll get negated, Thunderbird will activate summoning itself, then you can use the effect of Avion again, and if they activate another effect, you can bounce back Thunderbird, you can summon it again, and you can do that infinitely. If they try to normal summon a monster and attack over your Thunderbird, you have Fog Blade to just stop that monster from attacking entirely, along with being a generic monster negate. So if they try to do like Chain Link 2 or higher shenanigans, you can just stop them. It's just a really good setup, and you definitely should try this out. And I guess we'll go to the deck profile now. So right here we have the deck. I've kind of split it into sections to make it a bit neater. But starting off, we run Avion and Thunderbird. This should be no surprise. It's Infinite Gate, so we do have to run them. The ones here, 1 Graph, 1 Libic. Some people do wonder why I don't run the 2 Seer, 2 Graph. They just sometimes just brick the hand. Since they are you can only use one effect and once per turn and only once that turn. You can't just use them as an extender. They are inherent bricks, and I just run them at once. So even if I do draw them, you can just summon them off. You can just summon them off Libic by sending it from your deck to graveyard of Cherubini. So if you draw Libic, it's an extender. If you draw Graph, you can send Libic to summon it. If you draw Seer, you can use Libic to summon it. Problem does arise if you draw 2 BAs, but the chances of drawing 2 of a kind in a 40 card deck is, I believe, around like 3.5%-ish, which is extremely low. You have about 96.5% chance of not doing that, which is incredibly high, which should give you kind of it'll just show you how difficult it is to actually kind of brick with just 2 copies. And if I add another Seer and another Graph, that rate does increase significantly, so I don't really want to run extra copies. So that's my reasoning for just running 1 BAs. If you kind of disagree, you can just leave your argument in the comment. I'll try to counter that. Next we run Triple Tour Guide from the Underworld. This just summons even more level 3s from your deck. So in case you're not able to get enough extenders on the field for your Infinite Gate combo, you can always pivot to your traditional Rusty combo, where you just end on like 5-6 negates with like 2 Fog Blade and I believe 3 negates off your Dark Requiem and another pop off your Rusty Bardiche. It's kind of insane, but 6 negates is a lot lower than infinite negates, just saying. So, you know, if in case you're not able to get in combo, Tour Guide is another excellent starter. If you draw your 2 normal summons of the deck, Tour Guide and your tier scale, you can send discard the Phantom Knight of Stained Graves to your graveyard of Cherubini, and this card in the graveyard can summon another Phantom Knight from your hand by banishing it. It's the second effect. It doesn't come up too much, but if it's in the hand and you're a Phantom Knight monster special summoned to the field, you can summon it. It's kind of niche, so I don't really like it too much. But it can happen, so you know, just be aware of that. 2 copies of Ragged Gloves. This is just standard, the 1, 2, 3, 3, 3 ratio. I discussed it in a deck guide I made earlier on the Phantom Knight archetype. In case you wanted to check it out, it should be in the eye in the top right corner. But 2 copies of Ragged Gloves for sure. It is inherently another copy of any Phantom Knight in your deck. So in case you draw it and another level 3 extender, by the way, you run a bunch of them. Reinforcement of the army is one of them. You run Sound Boots, Kagemusha Knight, Tsuchinoko, Jackalope, all of those. 2 level 3 extenders go into Cherubini. You can banish it to summon dump another Phantom Knight, and it just comes up that way. It also comes up, on its second effect also comes up sometimes where if a Dark Xyz monster is summoned using it as a material, it gains 1k attack, and 1k is not a small amount. That knowledge can really help you in some OTK situations. The triple copies of Ancient Cloak, you can't afford to run this at any less than 3. It basically just searches any of your Phantom Knight, so you can't afford to run it at any less. Triple Torn Scale, the new card coming out, it's a bit at like the 20-25 euro range right now. So it is relatively cheap enough because the rest of the deck is super cheap, apart from say droplets, and like the hand traps are just personal choice. You can switch them depending on your budget preferences. But I guess the deck does clock in at about say the 100-150 range, so that's budget enough, honestly, and it's super consistent too. One of the reasons being Torn Scale. It has 2 brilliant effects. One, it's a discarded card, send any Phantom Knight's card from your deck to the graveyard, so that is super strong. If you draw it plus Ancient Cloak, you can discard the Ancient Cloak, and you can send one of your traps just to revive it later, which is super strong. On top of that, in the graveyard, if another Phantom Knight card in your graveyard is banished, and all of those cards banish in order to activate their effect, you can just summon it from the graveyard. So it is inherently 3 level 3 monsters in one card, because you're able to search Silent Boots off its first effect, then you can summon it later off its second effect by banishing Silent Boots, and plus it has a normal summon. That's 3 level 3 monsters, which is it's just stupid. Triple Silent Boots, it's an extender with any of your other Phantom Knight monsters, which is pretty strong, and it also searches any Phantom Knight spell or trap. So I usually just go for Fog Blade, or if you just want to search like a Phantom Knight's wing, in case you already have enough copies of Fog Blade, that might be useful. Actually, no, just search Fog Blade off it. It searches a negate, which, you know, you can't get better than that. The triple copies of Kagemusha Knight, since I do just need the extra extenders in this deck, I do run it at 3, being able to just summon itself from your hand. The 1 copy of Tsuchinoko, 1 copy of Jackalope, each of these are extra extenders, and they are super good as they are able to just fill your graveyard up with extra monsters along with drawing new cards. So you're able to do extra extenders, you're able to draw into your starters, you're able to discard any cards like Ancient Cloak, Ragged Gloves, Stained Greaves, any of that. It's just a brilliant card, both the dangers. You should definitely run them in any Phantom Knight deck you run. The 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army, all your Phantom Knights are monsters, not monsters, warriors, so you can search them off Road-Up. The 1 copy of Foolish Burial, it can dump any of your Phantom Knight monsters in a pinch. Say if you get like Ash Blossom on your tier scale, not tier, Torn Scale, I'm sorry if I'm triggering people with that, some people do get triggered if I say tier scale, but the 1 Foolish Burial for sure. The 1 copy of Rank Up Magic Phantom Knight's Force. This is another super good card in the traditional combo where you do get a free Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon, which is a not once per turn, not once per chain monster negate, which can easily get to 3 materials. So 3 monster negates, basically a 3-mat Appaloosa, along with having a really good effect of being able to OTK super easily. I can't emphasize that enough. So the one Phantom Knight Force for that specific reason. The one copy of Wing and triple copies of Fogblade. I'm not running Shade Brigandine because it's just a level 4 and you're literally running 0 other level 4s in this deck. Unless you're counting Stain Greaves, which you probably shouldn't. And I just feel that was a very finicky card, and I need level 3s for Cherubini and extra XP plays like Leviair, so that level 4 didn't really come up much because you could always just get 2 level 4s with the effect of Break Sword. So I'm just cutting Shade Brigandine as a whole. A Wing is able to protect your monsters along with being a monster reborn, so that's great as a one-up. And the triple Fog Blade, it's a negate, you can't get better than that. 2 copies of Ash Blossom. If you really want to run Shade Brigandine, then you might cut the 2 Ash Blossoms for like 1 Shade Brigandine and an extra Stain Greaves, because Stain Greaves does definitely gain utility by running Shade Brigandine. But you know, I just like the 2 Ash. Handtraps are super important in this current format, so I'm running a triple Forbidden Droplet. I said the deck is pretty budget, but you can just switch this Droplet for anything like a Dark Ruler no more. It's just really a tech card. Being able to just break your opponent's board most of the time is super strong. Especially against barrier statue variants of Dinosaur. I know those come up a lot. You're just able to send a bunch of cards and then ta-da, you can magically summon again. Triple Imperm, another super beneficial hand trap, being able to just negate your opponent's monsters. And that's the main deck. For my extra, I run the 1 copy of Dark Requiem Xyz Dragon to summon off your rank of magic, 1 copy of Arc Rebellion to summon off my Raiders Knight, 1 copy of Dark Rebellion, which is usually your go-to rank for your Dark Requiem, 1 copy of Evil Swarm Nightmare, in case I'm able to trigger Break Sword multiple times and I don't have access to, say, a Raiders Knight if I want to just OTK, or I'm going first and I somehow get access to another Break Sword, and I somehow already summoned the Dark Requiem. The Evil Swarm is basically Book of Moon, which it's basically a negated summon except for linked monsters. It's a really strong card, so you should definitely run it. It does come up sometimes, you know, in terms of level 4s. It loses a bit of its utility without Shade Brigandine, so you might consider running it again, but I don't like it. Because you do get traps in your graveyard with cards like Imperm or discarding off your Wing, or just discarding off your Torn Skill. 2 copies of Break Sword. The 2 copies do definitely come up. You do use 1 in your Rusty combo. You should probably know the Rusty combo is pretty intuitive too, just one tour guide. You should know where it goes from there. The 2 copies of Break Sword are really good. It's able to pop an opponent's monster along with summoning 2 Phantom Knights from your graveyard, which can easily make a rank 4 like Raiders Knight in order to go into an Arc Rebellion. If you're into a grindier game, then you might want to summon an Evil Swarm Nightmare instead of an Arc Rebellion if you know you won't be able to OTK. Because Evil Swarm Nightmare, as I said, is just another quote-unquote negate interruption. So you definitely do need the 2 copies because it is able to pop cards for free. Triple copies of Leviair. Some people might cut it too, but the 3 copies is just super useful, especially in the grind game. This deck definitely does have the ability to grind a lot, since you do have tons of options to just recur the material from the graveyard. You're able to recur material from your Banished Zone with Leviair, which is a very important thing, so triple Leviair for sure. The 1 copy of Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty. This is mainly just summon your Apex Avian. The 1 copy of Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche. It's definitely one of the most broken Link monsters printed to date. It's able to set up your graveyard along with setting cards like your Rank of Magic or your Fog Blade, or in some cases even your Phantom Knight's Wing, because the Phantom Knight's Wing is able to just protect your Apex Avian. So if your opponent does kind of run some Jinky, or say they activate like an Imperm, they use chain Avian, they chain like a Gamma, then you're kind of able to just, you know, protect your monster with Phantom Knight's Wing, which can definitely come up. So It is able to set you up. On top of that, it has another important effect. When a Dark Exceeds monster summoned to zone point 2, you can destroy a card on the field. So if you summon Breaksword, you destroy it, and then Breaksword has a floating effect where it summons 2 Phantom Knights from the graveyard. Then you can overlay into a Dark Rebellion, and you can set the rank of magic. During your opponent's turn, you can summon Dark Requiem. This will grant you a pop of Bardiche, and you also get 3 negates of Requiem. So that's 4 interruptions by itself, which is super strong. The one copy of Union Carrier. Union Carrier is able to just equip Thunderbird from your deck to your Smorg. The one copy of Reaper Doggett, change cards into Winged Beast for your Smorg. And finally, the one copy of Cherubini. Cherubini is another very important card, being able to set up your graveyard with level 3s, and you are able to just recur with the effect of Seer sometimes, which is super good. On top of that, your opponent cannot Ash Blossom it because it sends to your graveyard as cost, so they can't really do much against it. So that is the deck. It is a super fun deck. It is moderately budget, apart from just some extra tech cards, hand traps. The only real pricey card I would consider is maybe Torn Scale. I'm not too sure about the price of Arc Rebellion. I haven't checked that. But you don't even need Arc Rebellion for the deck to function. It's just another choice card. So for the deck as a core, you do not need any price cards. The deck as a core just costs about, say, €100, and just maybe 20 to 30 of your own cards. And it is a really fun deck to play too. It's able to grind a lot. It's able to just set up super easy OTKs out of nowhere with the Raider's Knight going into an Arc Rebellion, which just gains the attack of everything and negates the effects of everything your opponent controls. It is able to play cards like Forbidden Droplet very easy. It's able to extend super easily. It can sometimes just play through hand traps, and then even through hand traps you are very easily able to do your Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche combo. And there's just so much this deck can do. You should definitely try it out. And before leaving, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, as it really does help the channel. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.